Hey everyone! Tonight, I'm standing in my backyard, the air thick with the acrid sting of fresh paint. My hands trembling as I grip a roller dripping neon pink. The shared fence between my house and Marceline's looms like a battle line, half of it now screaming in garish color under the moonlight. Her voice shrill, venomous cuts through the night from her porch. "Elowen, you're making this place look like a slum." My pulse pounds in my ears, and I want to scream back. But I just nod, smirking, because this is only the beginning. You probably wouldn't last a week living next to someone like this. So before you settle in, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe, but only if you actually want more raw stories like this. Drop a comment below. Where are you listening from, and have you ever had a nightmare neighbor? Now take a deep breath, because here's everything you never knew about the war. I survived on my own front lawn. It started 3 months ago when I moved into this quiet suburban street, chasing a fresh start after a brutal divorce. The house was a fixer-upper, but it was mine a symbol of rebuilding. Marceline, my next-door neighbor, greeted me with a smile so tight it could crack glass. She's in her late 50s with frosted blonde hair and a voice that carries like a foghorn. Her lawn is pristine, her mailbox monogrammed her life a performance of perfection. At first I thought we'd get along. I was wrong. The trouble began with the fence. It's a shared wooden structure, weathered but sturdy, dividing our backyards. I wanted to paint my side a soft gray, something modern but neutral. I knocked on Marceline's door, all smiles, to discuss it. She opened it just a crack, her eyes narrowing. "Gray. That's so drab," she said, like I'd suggested spray painting it with mud. "This neighborhood has standards, Elowen. Don't make us look poor." Her tone dripped with disdain, as if my very existence lowered her property value. I bit my tongue, nodded, and walked away, but her words festered like a splinter. Days later, I'm in the hardware store, staring at paint swatches, her voice echoing in my head. Poor, drab, standards. That's when I see it, a can of neon pink so loud, it could wake a coma patient. It's ridiculous, childish, and perfect. If she wants to play gatekeeper of the neighborhood's image, I'll give her something to talk about. I buy 3 gallons, my heart racing with defiance. That night, under the cover of darkness, I start painting. The roller glides over the wood, the pink glowing like a rebellion. I'm halfway done when Marceline's porch light flicks on. "What the hell are you doing?" she shrieks, storming out in a silk robe, her face a mask of fury. The air smells of paint and her overpowering perfume. "This is vandalism. You're ruining everything I keep painting slow and deliberate," my back to her. "It's my side of the fence." "Marceline," I say, voice steady despite the adrenaline. I checked the property line. "I can paint it whatever color I want." She sputters words, tripping over her rage. "You're a disgrace. I'll have the HOA on you by morning." I turn roller in hand and meet her eyes. "Go ahead," I say. "Let's see who they side with." The next morning, I wake to pounding on my door. It's not the HOA. It's Marceline holding a printed copy of the neighborhood covenants, her finger jabbing at the page. "Section 4.2 exterior modifications must be approved," she snaps. Her breath smells of coffee and self-righteousness. I lean against the doorframe, still in my pajamas, and scan the document. She's right, technically, but the rule is vague, and I know the HOA's a paper tiger. "I'll take my chances," I say, shutting the door in her face. Her muffled curses follow me back to the kitchen, where I sip my coffee and stare at the pink fence through the window. It's hideous. It's glorious. By noon, the neighborhood's buzzing. My phone pings with texts from other neighbors, some horrified, some secretly delighted. "Bold move," writes Tara from across the street. "She's been lording over us for years." I smile, but the victory feels hollow when I see Marceline outside, taking photos of the fence, her lips pursed like she's sucking a lemon. She's not done. Neither am I. That evening, I'm watering my garden when I hear her voice again, this time on the phone, loud enough for the whole street to hear. Yes, it's an eyesore. She's lowering our property values. I grip the hose water, spraying wildly as my anger boils. She's trying to rally the HOA, maybe even the city, to force me to repaint. I could back down, scrape off the pink, and play nice. But every time I think of her smug face, her "don't make us look poor," I want to double down. So I do. I go back to the hardware store and buy pink outdoor lights, tacky blazing ones. By midnight, I've strung them along the fence, turning my backyard into a neon carnival. The glow spills into Marceline's pristine lawn, and I hear her scream from inside her house. It's a small, vicious thrill, but it's mine. I stand in the dark, the pink light bathing my face, and realize this isn't just about the fence anymore. It's about power, about refusing to let her bully me into submission. The next day, an HOA notice arrives in my mailbox, demanding I remove the unauthorized modifications within 48 hours or face fines. Marceline's handwriting is all over it. She's on the board, of course. I crumple the paper, my resolve hardening. She wants a war. I'll give her one. But as I stare at the glowing fence, a knot forms in my stomach. This is only the beginning, and I'm already in deeper than I planned. The neon pink fence glows under the streetlights, a garish monument to my defiance, but the thrill of last week's rebellion is fading. Marceline's HOA notice sits on my kitchen counter, its 48-hour deadline ticking like a bomb. I'm sipping tea, trying to strategize, when a foul stench hits me. It's not the paint this time, it's something rancid wafting from the backyard. I grab a flashlight and step outside, the cool night air prickling my skin. The beam lands on a pile of dog feces smeared across my side of the fence, dripping onto my marigolds. My stomach churns, not just from the smell, but from the audacity. Marceline's dog, a yappy little terrier, barks from her yard, and I know this wasn't an accident. I march to her front door, my bare feet slapping the pavement, rage burning hotter than the August heat. It's nearly midnight, but I don't care. I pound on her door, the sound echoing down the silent street. "Marceline! Get out here!" I yell, my voice raw. Her porch light flicks on, and she opens the door. Her silk robe tied tightly, her face a mask of feigned surprise. "Elowen, what's this about?" she asks, her voice syrupy sweet, like she's auditioning for sainthood. The smell of her lavender air freshener clashes with the memory of the feces, and I clench my fists to keep from shaking. "You threw dog crap over the fence," I say, pointing toward my yard. "Don't play dumb." Her eyes widen, then narrow, and she lets out a laugh, sharp, mocking. "Me? Pick up after my dog? I'd never." She leans closer, her breath hot with mint. "Maybe it was a stray. Or maybe you're just looking for attention." The smugness in her voice is a knife twisting. I want to scream, to shove the evidence in her face, but she's already stepping back, ready to slam the door. I catch the frame with my hand. "I know it was you," I hiss, "and I'm not letting this go." Her smile doesn't waver, but there's a flicker of something fear maybe in her eyes. "Good luck proving it," she says, and the door shuts with a click. I stand there, heart pounding, the neighborhood silent except for the distant hum of crickets. Her denial is a slap, but it's also a challenge. She thinks she's untouchable. She's wrong. Back in my yard, I gag as I clean the mess with a shovel, the flashlight clamped between my teeth. The feces is fresh, deliberate, smeared in arcs like a sick signature. My marigolds planted to honor my late mother are ruined, their petals wilting under the filth. It's not just vandalism, it's personal. I bag the evidence, my hands shaking, and drag it to the garage. Sleep is impossible now. I pace my living room, the pink glow from the fence seeping through the blinds taunting me. Marceline's crossed a line, and I need to hit back hard. The next morning, I'm at the pet store buying a motion-activated sprinkler marketed for pest control. It's petty, but I'm past caring. I set it up along the fence aimed at her side and wait. By dusk, her terrier triggers it, and I hear her shriek as the spray soaks her precious lawn. I peek through my curtains, biting back a laugh as she stomps outside robe-drenched, yelling at the dog. It's a small win, but it feels like justice. Until I see her staring at my house, her eyes locked on my window. She knows it was me. That night, I'm jolted awake by a thud against my back door. My clock reads 2:17 a.m. I grab my phone and creep downstairs, heart hammering. Through the glass, I see another pile of feces on my patio this time, with a note taped to a rock. Keep your trashy fence. This suits you better. The handwriting is hers, loopy, unmistakable. My blood boils, but I don't call the police. Not yet. Instead, I snap photos, the flash illuminating the mess like a crime scene. This is evidence, and I'm building a case. The next day, I'm at the hardware store again, this time for a cheap security camera. I install it above my patio, hidden in the eaves, its lens trained on the fence. Marceline's not stupid. She'll try something else, and I'll be ready. By evening, I'm sipping wine on my porch, pretending to relax, but my eyes keep drifting to her house. Her lights are on her curtains, twitching. She's watching me too. The tension breaks at midnight. My phone pings with a motion alert from the camera. I open the app, and there she is, Marceline, in a dark hoodie, creeping along the fence with a plastic bag in hand. My heart races as I watch her scoop more feces from her yard and fling it over. The camera catches every move, her face clear in the infrared. I've got her. I save the footage, my hands trembling with triumph. But as I stare at the screen, a chill runs through me. She's not just toxic, she's unhinged. I could take the video to the HOA, the police, even the neighbors, but something stops me. This feels too easy, too quick. Marceline's been terrorizing this street for years, and I want her to feel the weight of her actions. I upload the footage to my laptop, label it Exhibit A, and start planning. The sprinkler was a warning shot. The camera was a trap. Now I need to escalate something public, something she can't deny. As I lie in bed, the smell of cleaning solution lingering from the patio scrub, I realize this war is changing me. I'm not just fighting for my yard or my pride. I'm fighting for every time I've been pushed around and stayed silent. Marceline picked the wrong neighbor. Tomorrow, I'll start spreading the word, planting seeds of doubt about her perfect facade. Let her think she's winning. I'm just getting started. The air in my house feels heavy, like the walls are holding their breath. Marceline's latest stunt, smearing dog feces on my patio with that taunting note, burns in my mind as I stare at the HOA's latest letter. It arrived this morning, a crisp white envelope with the neighborhood's crest, but its words are a gut punch, a $500 fine for unauthorized fence modifications, and a demand to repaint the neon pink by week's end. The signature at the bottom is Marceline's, her loopy handwriting, a smug flourish. She's not just fighting dirty, she's weaponizing the HOA, and I'm done playing defense. I pace my kitchen, the linoleum cold under my bare feet. The smell of burnt toast lingering from a breakfast I couldn't stomach. The security footage of Marceline flinging feces is backed up on my laptop, a ticking bomb I haven't detonated yet. I could send it to the HOA, but they're in her pocket. Marceline's been on the board for years, her influence a chokehold on this street. I need to expose her not just for the feces, but for the way she's turned this neighborhood into her personal fiefdom. The HOA meeting is tomorrow night, and I'm going to walk into that lion's den armed. I spend the day digging. I pull up the HOA bylaws from their website, a dense PDF that smells of bureaucracy even through the screen. Section 4.2, the one Marceline waved in my face, is vague about exterior modifications, but it requires a majority board vote for fines. I cross-reference the board members' names with social media. 3 of the 5 follow Marceline's private Instagram, their comments fawning over her garden parties. Cozy. Then I find a neighborhood forum post from last year. A resident fined $1,000 for a non-compliant shed, while Marceline's unapproved gazebo went untouched. The pattern's clear, she's untouchable, and I'm her latest target. The meeting is held in the community center, a sterile room that smells of lemon cleaner and old coffee. I walk in my heart, hammering, clutching a folder with printed bylaws and screenshots. The fluorescent lights buzz overhead, casting harsh shadows on the folding chairs filled with neighbors. Marceline sits at the front table, flanked by the board, her navy blazer and pearl earrings screaming authority. She spots me and smirks, whispering to the chairwoman Linda, whose nod is all I need to confirm their alliance. The room feels like a courtroom, and I'm on trial. Linda calls the meeting to order, her voice nasal and clipped. Item 1, fines for non-compliance. My name comes up first, and Marceline stands, her voice dripping with faux concern. Elowen's neon pink fence is an eyesore, lowering our property values, she says, gesturing to a blown-up photo of my fence, the pink glaring under the projector's light. Murmurs ripple through the crowd. Some nod, others shift uncomfortably. The board has issued a $500 fine and a repaint order. She continues, but Elowen's refused to comply. All eyes turn to me, and my throat tightens. I stand my chair, scraping loudly. I'd like to respond, I say, my voice steadier than I feel. Linda hesitates, but the bylaws give residents the right to speak. I walk to the front, my folder trembling in my hands, and face the room. Marceline's calling my fence an eyesore, but let's talk about selective enforcement. I hold up the bylaws, pointing to Section 4.2. Fines require a majority vote, but I never got a hearing. Why? Because Marceline runs this board like her personal fan club. Gasps ripple through the crowd. Marceline's face reddens, but I don't stop. I flip to the forum post. Last year, Tom Reynolds was fined $1,000 for a shed, but Marceline's unapproved gazebo built 6 months later got a pass. Why I lock eyes with her? Because she's got you all scared. I pull out the Instagram screenshots showing her cozy exchanges with board members. This isn't an HOA, it's a clique. The room erupts, neighbors shouting some at me, some at Marceline. Linda bangs her gavel, but I'm not done. I turn to Marceline, my voice low but carrying. You want to talk property values? Let's discuss what vandalism does to a neighborhood. I don't mention the feces, not yet, but her eyes widen, and I know she's rattled. The climax comes when Tara, my ally from across the street, stands. Elowen's right, she says. Marceline's been bullying us for years. My mailbox got a violation for a single chip, but her dog runs loose and no one says a word. Others chime in, Mike, who got fined for a basketball hoop. Sarah, whose garden flags were deemed tacky. The room turns on Marceline, her composure cracking as she snaps. This is outrageous. You're all jealous. It's a mistake. Her mask slips and the neighbors see it. Linda adjourns the meeting in chaos, promising to review my fine. I walk out, my folder clutched to my chest, the night air cool against my flushed skin. Marceline storms past her heels, clicking, muttering about consequences. I've shaken her grip, but I've also painted a target on my back. In my car, I check my phone texts from Tara and Mike offering support. The power's shifting, but I'm not naive. Marceline's wounded, not defeated, and she'll come for me harder now. Back home, I sit on my porch, the pink fence glowing defiantly. The meeting was a win, but it's also a wake-up call. I can't just react anymore. I need to outsmart her. The footage of her vandalism is my ace, but I need more to bury her. Tomorrow, I'll start canvassing neighbors, collecting stories of her abuses. This isn't just about me anymore. It's about freeing this street from her reign. The glow of the neon pink fence seeps through my bedroom curtains, a constant reminder of the war I've ignited. After the HOA meeting, where I exposed Marceline's stranglehold on the board, the neighborhood feels like a powder keg. Texts from Tara and Mike buzz on my phone, praising my stand, but I can't shake the image of Marceline's face, red furious plotting as she stormed out. I'm brushing my teeth, the minty foam sharp on my tongue, when a bass line thumps through my walls. It's 11 p.m., and the sound is coming from her house loud enough to rattle my windows. I spit into the sink, my reflection wild-eyed in the mirror. She's baiting me. I pull on a hoodie and step onto my porch, the night air damp with the threat of rain. Marceline's backyard is lit up like a nightclub, her speakers blaring a repetitive techno beat that pulses in my chest. Shadows move behind her curtains. She's throwing a party or pretending to, just to keep me awake. The smell of her jasmine bushes mixes with the faint chemical tang of my fence paint, and I clench my fists. This isn't random. She knows I work early, knows I'm already stretched thin. It's revenge for the meeting, and it's personal. I bang on her door, my knuckles stinging. The music doesn't stop, but her face appears at the window, her smirk illuminated by her porch light. "Go home, Elowen," she calls through the glass. "Some of us are having fun." Fun. The word is a taunt, and I realize she's not just disrupting my sleep, she's asserting control. I could call the cops, but she'd spin it, play the victim, maybe even bring up the fence again. No, if she wants a noise war, I'll give her one. Back home, I dig through my garage past the bag of feces I haven't disposed of until I find my old Bluetooth speaker, a beast from my college days loud enough to shake a dorm. I drag it to my backyard, plug it in, and cue up the most obnoxious playlist I can think of, heavy metal, all screeching guitars and pounding drums. I crank the volume, aiming the speaker at her house. The first riff blasts out, and I feel a surge of adrenaline. My yard pulses with sound, the pink fence vibrating. Let's see how she likes it. Within minutes, her porch light flicks on. She storms out, her silk pajamas glowing under the moonlight, screaming something I can't hear over the music. I wave, mimicking her smirk, and turn the volume up. Her face contorts, and she disappears inside. For a moment, I think I've won. Then her music gets louder, a deafening techno assault that drowns out my metal. It's a standoff, our yards, a cacophony of noise, the neighborhood caught in our crossfire. My head throbs, but I'm not backing down. At 1 a.m., red and blue lights flash at the end of the street. A police cruiser pulls up and my stomach drops. Marceline's beaten me to it. I cut my music, the sudden silence ringing in my ears, and step onto my lawn as 2 officers approach. Marceline's already out, her voice trembling with crocodile tears. "She's been blasting music all night, officers," she says, pointing at me. "I just wanted a small gathering, but Elowen's harassing me." The lie is so smooth I almost admire it. Almost. The older officer, a grizzled man with a name tag reading Sergeant Carter, looks at me. "Ma'am, we got a noise complaint. Care to explain?" My heart races, but I keep my voice calm. "She started it," I say, nodding at Marceline. "Her techno's been shaking my house since 11. I only turned on my music to get her to stop." Carter raises an eyebrow, glancing between us. The younger officer, a woman, checks her notepad. "We've had calls about this address before," she says, looking at Marceline. "Multiple noise complaints going back years." Marceline's mask slips, her eyes darting. "That's ridiculous," she snaps. "I'm the victim here." But Carter's not buying it. He steps closer to her, his voice low. "Ma'am, we clocked the decibels from your property at 85, well over the limit. Hers was high too, but you've got a history." My jaw drops. A history? I glance at Marceline, who's clutching her pearls, literally her face pale. The officer turns to me. "Both of you keep it down or we're issuing citations." "Understood." I nod, biting back a grin. Marceline mutters agreement, her voice tight. The officers leave their cruiser, disappearing into the night. I'm alone with her now, the air thick with tension. "You think this is over?" she hisses, stepping closer. Her breath smells of wine and desperation. "You're making enemies, Elowen." I meet her gaze, unflinching. "So are you," I say. She turns on her heel. The techno silenced her house dark. Back inside, I collapse on my couch, the adrenaline draining. My speaker sits in the corner, a silent warrior. The police visit was a win, but it's bittersweet. I've exposed another crack in Marceline's facade, but she's escalating, and I'm not sure how far she'll go. I pull out my phone and text Tara cops just shut down Marceline's party. She's got a noise record. Tara replies instantly. Oh, gee, spill. I smile, but my eyes drift to the security camera feed on my laptop. The footage of Marceline's feces stunt is still there waiting. I need more leverage, more allies. Tomorrow, I'll knock on doors, collect stories of Marceline's noise complaints, her petty fines, her reign of terror. The neighborhood's waking up, and I'm fanning the flames. But as I crawl into bed, the silence feels ominous, like the calm before a storm. Marceline's not done, and neither am I. This war's about to get louder. The silence after the noise war feels like a held breath, fragile and tense. Marceline's house is dark. Her techno speaker's quiet since the police shut her down last night. But I know she's plotting. I'm sprawled on my couch, the neon pink glow from the fence seeping through my blinds, my laptop open to the security footage of her smearing dog feces on my patio. That video plus the police confirming her noise complaint history is ammunition, but I need more to dismantle her reign. I'm sipping cold coffee. The bitter taste grounding me when a rancid smell hits different from the feces, sharper, like rotting food. It's coming from my front yard. I grab a flashlight and step outside, the midnight air cool against my flushed skin. The beam sweeps across my lawn and lands on a heap of trash, soggy pizza boxes, coffee grounds, banana peels, and what looks like a half-eaten lasagna all spilling across my grass. The stench is overwhelming, a mix of decay and grease that makes my eyes water. My stomach twists, not just from the smell, but from the violation. This is Marceline escalating again, turning my home into her dumping ground. Her house is silent, her curtains still, but I can feel her watching, smirking. I don't confront her this time. She'd deny it, just like the feces, her smug face daring me to prove it. Instead, I check my security camera, the one I installed after her last stunt, hidden in the eaves. I pull up the footage on my phone, my heart pounding. There she is at 2 a.m., a shadowy figure in a hooded sweatshirt dragging a trash bag from her garage. The infrared catches her face as she empties it onto my lawn, her lips curled in a sneer. It's unmistakable, undeniable. I save the clip label it, Exhibit B, and feel a surge of triumph. She's sloppy, and I've got her. Cleaning the mess takes hours, my gloves slick with grease, the flashlight clamped between my teeth. The lasagna's congealed cheese clings to my grass, and I gag, thinking of my mother's garden, now tainted by Marceline's spite. But as I bag the trash, my anger hardens into resolve. The community board meeting is tomorrow, a broader forum than the HOA where residents, not just board members, can speak. I'll show the footage, expose her vandalism, and turn the neighborhood against her. She's not just fighting me anymore. She's underestimating the street she's bullied for years. The next morning, I print stills from the video, Marceline's face clear as day. I knock on Tara's door, then Mike's showing them the evidence. Tara's jaw drops. She's unhinged, she says, her voice low. Mike, who's still bitter about his basketball hoop fine, nods. Show it at the meeting. I'll back you. By afternoon, I've got 5 neighbors committed to speak small victories, but they're stacking. The air smells of fresh-cut grass as I walk home, my folder of evidence heavy in my hands. Marceline's car is gone, but her dog barks from her yard, a reminder of her presence. The community board meeting is held in the same sterile community center, but tonight it's packed the air thick with sweat and anticipation. I sit in the third row, my folder on my lap, the buzz of fluorescent lights overhead setting my nerves on edge. Marceline's at the front, chatting with the board member, her laugh loud and forced. She's in a floral dress playing the perfect neighbor, but her eyes dart to me, and I see the flicker of unease. She knows I'm here for blood. The board chair, a no-nonsense retiree named Carl, opens the floor for resident concerns. I stand, my legs shaky, but my voice steady. I have evidence of vandalism, I say, holding up the stills. The room goes quiet, all eyes on me. Marceline dumped trash on my lawn, pizza boxes, lasagna, the works. My camera caught it. I pass the stills to Carl, who frowns as he examines them. Marceline leaps up, her voice shrill. "That's absurd! She's faking it to smear me!" But her panic betrays her, and the crowd murmurs, sensing her guilt. I plug my phone into the projector, and the footage plays on the wall. Marceline, hooded and sneering, dumping the trash. Gasps ripple through the room. Tara stands. "She's done this before," she says. "Last year my roses were trampled after I challenged her on a fine." Mike chimes in. "She reported my hoop for no reason, cost me $200. Others join a chorus of grievances, petty fines, snide remarks, unleashed dogs." Marceline's face crumples, her hands gripping the table. "You're all liars," she snaps, but it's desperate, unconvincing. Carl bangs his gavel. "Enough," he says. "Marceline, this is serious. We'll investigate, and if this holds, you're facing fines, maybe legal action." The room erupts, neighbors clapping, some shouting at her. Marceline storms out, her heels, clicking her floral dress, a mockery of her facade. I sit, my heart racing, the folder trembling in my hands. It's a victory, but it feels like standing on a cliff's edge. Outside, Tara hugs me, her perfume sharp and floral. "You did it," she says. But as I walk home, the pink fence glowing under the streetlights, I feel the weight of what's coming. Marceline's cornered animals are dangerous. I check my camera feed before bed, half expecting her to retaliate, but her house is dark. The footage is my shield, but I need more, a way to end this for good. Tomorrow, I'll push harder, rally. More neighbors, maybe talk to a lawyer. This isn't just about trash or fences anymore. It's about breaking her grip on the street, and I'm all in. The morning sun glints off the neon pink fence, its garish glow a quiet taunt as I sip coffee on my porch. After last night's community board meeting, where I played the security footage of Marceline dumping trash on my lawn, the neighborhood feels different, like a tide turning. Her suspension from the HOA has the neighborhood buzzing. Tara's group chat hums with plans to oust her for good. But I know Marceline, and silence from her house across the fence isn't peace, it's strategy. I'm scrolling through the footage again, savoring her caught-in-the-act sneer when I hear her voice, soft, almost broken, calling my name from the sidewalk. Eloine Marceline stands at the edge of my yard, her floral cardigan and pearl earrings a stark contrast to her red-rimmed eyes. The air smells of her lavender perfume, cloying and fake, like her expression. "Can we talk?" she asks, her voice trembling. My gut screams trap, but curiosity wins. I set my coffee down, the mug warm against my palms, and cross my arms. "What do you want?" Her hands twist together, and she steps closer, her heels sinking into the grass. "I'm sorry," she says, tears welling. "The trash, the noise, the fence, I've been awful. I'm under so much stress." Her voice cracks, and for a moment I waver. Is she human after all? She gestures to her house, her voice dropping. "My husband's sick. The HOA's on my back, and I took it out on you. Can we start over?" The words are perfect, rehearsed, and I catch the flicker in her eyes, calculating, not contrite. But the neighbors are watching. Curtains twitch across the street. If I reject her now, I'm the villain. "Fine," I say, my tone flat. "No more games, Marceline." She nods, a single tear rolling down her cheek, and I almost laugh at the theatrics. "Thank you," she whispers, then walks away. Her posture straightening the moment she thinks I'm not looking. I don't trust her, but I let the truth stand, if only to buy time. That afternoon, I'm in my backyard, tending my marigolds, still recovering from her feces stunt, when I notice something off. The soil smells wrong, chemical like bleach. I dig gently and find the roots blackened, shriveled. My heart sinks as I check the rest of the garden. Every plant roses lavender, even the hardy succulents is wilting, poisoned. The air tastes bitter, and I choke back a sob. This was my mother's garden, my sanctuary, and Marceline's destroyed it. Her apology was a lie, a distraction to let her sneak in and strike. I stormed to my security camera feed, my hands shaking as I scrub through the footage. There she is at 3 a.m., a dark figure in gloves pouring liquid from a jug over my plants. The infrared catches her face, smirking triumphant, the same sneer from the trash video. My rage is a living thing clawing at my chest. She didn't just break the truce. She spat on it. I save the clip, label it Exhibit C, and pace my kitchen, the linoleum cold under my feet. Confronting her won't work. She'll deny it, cry more crocodile tears. No, I need to hit her where it hurts her reputation. I call Tara and Mike, my voice shaking, as I tell them about the garden. She poisoned my plants, I say, sending them the footage. Tara gasps. She's a monster. Mike offers to spread the word, and by evening, a group chat with 6 neighbors is buzzing with outrage. She fined me for my dog's leash length, Sarah writes. Told me my kids' bikes were clutter, adds Jen. I share the video, and the group erupts. We're done with her Tara types. I lean back, the smell of my ruined garden lingering in my mind, and realize this is bigger than me now. Marceline's reign is crumbling. The next day, I print the new footage and march to the community center, where an emergency board meeting has been called thanks to Tara's petition. The room is packed, the air thick with tension, and the faint scent of stale coffee. Marceline's there, her face pale but defiant, whispering to a board member. I stand, my folder heavy with evidence, and address the crowd. Marceline offered me a truce yesterday, I say, my voice carrying. Then she poisoned my garden. I play the footage on the projector, her gloved hands dousing my plants. The room explodes, shouts, gasps, neighbors turning on her. Marceline leaps up, her voice shrill. That's not me, she's framing me. But her lies are unraveling. Sarah stands. You threatened my kids. Jen adds, you keyed my car when I parked too close. The board chair. Carl bangs his gavel, but the crowd's done with her. Enough, Carl says. Marceline, you're suspended from the HOA pending investigation. Elowen, we'll cover your garden damages. It's a win, but Marceline's glare as she storms out is a promise of retaliation. I walk home, the pink fence glowing under the dusk sky, my heart pounding with triumph and dread. The neighborhood's rallying, but Marceline's not beaten. She's desperate, and that's worse. I check my cameras before bed, the footage of her vandalism looping in my mind. I've exposed her again, but I need to stay one step ahead. Tomorrow, I'll meet with a lawyer, maybe file a restraining order. This war's not over, but I'm no longer alone, and that changes everything. The air feels charged like the moment before lightning strikes, as I stand in my backyard staring at the neon pink fence. After humiliating her with the surveyor's report that debunked her fake property line claim, I feel the neighborhood shifting. Tara's group chat buzzes with neighbors planning to vote her off the HOA entirely, and my lawyer's drafting a fraud complaint about her forged survey. But the quiet from her house is unnerving, like a predator circling before it strikes. I'm watering my surviving succulents, the earthy smell grounding me, when a sharp knock at my front door breaks the quiet. It's a delivery, a certified letter, and the sender's name chills me, Marceline. I rip it open, the paper crisp under my fingers. It's a formal complaint stamped by the city, claiming my backyard shed, barely a 6x8 storage unit, encroaches on her property line by 2 feet. She demands its removal within 72 hours or faces legal action, citing a recent survey she commissioned. The letter smells faintly of her lavender perfume, a taunt in every word. My pulse races as I reread it, the audacity sinking in. This isn't about the shed, it's her next move to reclaim control after the board humiliated her. I glance at the shed. Its faded green paint, a quiet fixture since I moved in, and feel a surge of defiance. She's not taking another inch of my life. I called Tara, my voice tight. She's saying my shed's on her land. Tara scoffs. She tried that with Mike's gazebo last year, bluffing. But I'm not taking chances. I hire a surveyor, a grizzled man named Ron, who arrives the next morning with a theodolite and a no-nonsense grunt. The air smells of dew and fresh-cut grass as he measures his boots sinking into the soil. Marceline watches from her porch arms, crossed her terrier yapping at her feet. "You're wasting your money, Elowen," she calls, her voice smug. I ignore her, but my stomach twists. If she's right, I'm screwed. Ron finishes by noon, handing me a report with precise coordinates. "Your shed's clear," he says, pointing to the property line a foot from the fence. "Her survey is bunk, probably faked." I clutch the report, my hands trembling with relief and rage. Marceline's not just desperate, she's reckless, forging documents to bully me. I thank Ron, then march to my laptop, the smell of coffee lingering in my kitchen. I scan the report and email it to the city, copying Carl from the community board and the HOA. But that's not enough. I want her to feel this. I drive to the hardware store, the same one where I bought the pink paint and order materials for a new fence, taller, stronger, legal. The city code allows 6 feet, so I go for it, choosing cedar panels that'll block her view entirely. The clerk, a young guy with a nose ring, grins. "Heard about your pink masterpiece. This gonna be another statement," I smirk. "You'll see." Back home, I print Ron's report and tape it to my shed, facing her yard with a post-it, "Nice try, Marceline." She's out there within minutes, ripping it down her face purple. I watch from my window, sipping tea, the steam warm against my lips. Checkmate. The fence crew arrives the next day, their drills and hammers a satisfying roar. The cedar panels go up 6 feet of solid defiance, casting her yard in shadow. Neighbors gather, some snapping photos, others whispering. Tara brings me a lemonade, her eyes gleaming. "You're a legend," she says. Marceline storms out, her voice shrill. "This is an outrage! You're blocking my light!" I step forward, the surveyor's report in hand. "City says it's legal," I say loud enough for the crowd. "Unlike your fake survey." I hold up the report and her eyes widen, the crowd murmuring. "You lied to the city, Marceline. That's fraud." Her mouth opens, then shuts, her hands shaking. "You'll regret this," she hisses, but her voice cracks and she retreats inside. The neighbors clap, Mike, Sarah, Jen, even quiet old Mr. Patel, who's never said a word. It's a vivid moment, the street uniting against her, and I feel a rush of power. But as the crew finishes, the new fence looming like a fortress, I catch a glimpse of her curtain twitching. She's not done, and I'm not naive enough to think this ends here. That night, I'm in my backyard, the cedar's fresh wood scent mixing with the faint chemical tang of the pink paint still visible on the old fence. I check my security camera feed, nothing yet, but I add a second camera aimed at the new fence. The surveyor's report is my shield, but I need more to bury her. I text my lawyer a recommendation from Mike, scheduling a meeting to discuss her fraud and the garden damages. The community board's investigating her, but I want legal pressure, something to make her sweat. As I lie in bed, the house quiet except for the hum of my fridge, I replay her trembling hands, her cracked voice. She's unraveling, but that makes her dangerous. The neighborhood's with me now, but this war's personal, and I'm fighting for more than a shed or a fence. It's for every time she's made me feel small. Tomorrow, I'll push the lawyer to file fast and rally more neighbors to testify against her. The tide's turned, but I'm bracing for her next strike. The new cedar fence towers over my backyard, a 6-foot wall of defiance that blocks Marceline's view and her venom, at least physically. After humiliating her with the surveyor's report that debunked her fake property line claim, I feel the neighborhood shifting. Tara's group chat buzzes with neighbors planning to vote her off the HOA entirely, and my lawyers drafting a fraud complaint about her forged survey. But the quiet from her house is unnerving, like a predator circling before it strikes. I'm scrolling through my phone, the air smelling of cedar and fresh paint, when a notification pings a tag in a neighborhood Facebook group. My stomach drops as I click. It's a post from Marceline, a wall of text under a photo of my neon pink fence captioned, "This is what we're dealing with." She calls me a deranged newcomer who's destroying our community with my tacky modifications and unhinged behavior. She claims I harassed her with loud music, vandalized her lawn, and faked evidence to frame her. The lies are bold, vicious, and the comments are brutal. She's a disgrace. Kick her out. Marceline's always been so kind. My hands shake the screen, blurring as I read. It's gone viral. 200 shares, 300 comments, and climbing. She's not just fighting me. She's rewriting the narrative. I storm outside, the night air cool against my flushed skin, and pace my yard. The cedar fence looms, its wood scent sharp, but it can't shield me from this. My phone buzzes with texts from Tara. She's lying. Everyone's falling for it. Mike writes, "This is BS. What do we do?" I want to scream, to bang on her door, and demand she take it down. But that's what she wants me, unhinged, proving her point. Instead, I sit at my kitchen table, the linoleum cold under my elbows, and open my laptop. She's taken this to social media. I'll fight her there. I compile my evidence, the security footage of her smearing feces, dumping trash, and poisoning my garden, plus the surveyor's report debunking her property line lie. I edit it into a 3-minute video, my voiceover raw but steady. This is the real Marceline vandal liar bully. I include screenshots of her post overlaying her lies with clips of her caught red-handed. The final frame is the neon pink fence, glowing defiantly with text, "I'm not the problem." She is. My hands tremble as I upload it to the group, tagging every neighbor I know. I hit post at 1 a.m., the silence deafening, and wait. By morning, my videos exploded 500 shares. 1,000 likes, comments flooding in. She did what? Marceline's been terrorizing us for years. Elowen, you're a queen. I'm sipping coffee. The bitter taste grounding me when I see Marceline's car peel out of her driveway. She's seen it. Good. I step onto my porch, the air smelling of dew and victory, and check my phone. Tara's posted a thread detailing Marceline's past abuses, fines, threats, petty complaints. Mike shares a photo of his fined basketball hoop captioned, "This is who she protects." The group's a war zone, neighbors piling on her, defenders dwindling. The second vivid moment hits at noon. I'm in my backyard checking my new camera feed when I hear shouting. Across the street, Marceline's arguing with Jen, who's holding her phone like a weapon. "You keyed my car!" Jen yells loud enough for the block to hear. Elowen's video opened my eyes. Marceline's face is scarlet, her voice shrill. "You're all ungrateful." She storms inside, but the street's alive, neighbors on lawns, whispering, pointing. My video didn't just expose her. It's ignited a rebellion. By evening, the group admin removes Marceline's post for violating community standards. My video's still up, racking up views. I get a call from Carl, the community board chair, his voice gruff. "Marceline's off the HOA permanently," he says. "Your evidence was undeniable. We're also filing a vandalism report with the city." I thank him, my throat tight, but the victory feels fragile. Marceline's not the type to slink away, she's cornered, and that's when she's most dangerous. That night, I'm locking my doors when my phone pings with a direct message. It's from an anonymous account, but the tone screams, "Marceline, you think you've won? Watch your back." My heart races the words a cold blade. I screenshot it and send it to my lawyer, then check my cameras. Her house is dark, but I feel her presence lurking. The third vivid moment comes as I sit on my couch, the cedar fence's shadow stretching across my floor. I realize this war's gone beyond my yard, my pride. It's about truth, about breaking her hold on this street. I'm not just fighting for me anymore. I'm fighting for everyone she's hurt. I text Tara and Mike, planning a neighborhood meeting to discuss next steps. Maybe a petition to the city, maybe more legal action. The pink fence, the cedar wall, the videos, they're symbols of my refusal to bow. But as I crawl into bed, the anonymous message loops in my mind. Marceline's out of moves, but she's not out of spite. Tomorrow, I'll install floodlights, meet with the lawyer, and keep pushing. The neighborhood's behind me, and that's power she can't fake. This war's not over, but I'm ready for her next swing. The neighborhood pulses with a new energy, like a storm has passed and left the air sharp and clean. My viral video exposing Marceline's lies, her feces smearing, trash-dumping, plant-poisoning truth has stripped her of power. She's off the HOA for good, and the community board's vandalism report is with the city. Tara's group chat hums with plans for a block party to reclaim the street, but I'm on edge. Marceline's anonymous message. Watch your back sits heavy in my gut. I'm checking my security cameras, the cedar fence's shadow stretching across my living room, when I hear a grinding crunch outside. It's 6 a.m. and the sound's coming from my driveway. I rush out, the morning air cold and damp, and stop dead. My driveway's a mess, cracked concrete smeared with black tar chunks pried up like someone took a crowbar to it. The smell of asphalt and malice chokes me. My car's tires are caked in the sticky mess, and a note's taped to the windshield. You don't belong here. Marceline's loopy handwriting is unmistakable, her desperation screaming through every word. This isn't just vandalism. It's a declaration of war, and I'm done letting her strike first. I grab my phone, my hands shaking, and check the camera feed. There she is, at 4 a.m., in a dark jacket, wielding a sledgehammer and a can of tar. Her face is clear, twisted with rage as she swings oblivious to the lens. It's Exhibit D, and it's gold. But I don't call the police, not yet. Marceline's unraveling, and I want her to fall hard publicly where she can't spin it. I call my lawyer, Rachel, her voice crisp through the speaker. This is criminal property damage, she says. We can press charges, but let's set a trap first. Her plans brilliant: file a civil complaint force, a community hearing, and let Marceline hang herself with her own lies. I spend the day gathering evidence, the tar's acrid stench lingering as I photograph the damage. Tara and Mike come over, their faces grim. She's lost it, Tara says, kicking a chunk of concrete. Mike nods. We'll testify she's done this to others. I email Rachel the footage, the note, and statements from neighbors about Marceline's past abuses. By evening, the city schedules an emergency hearing for tomorrow, citing escalating resident disputes. I print stills of the driveway footage, my hands steady now, fueled by purpose. Marceline thinks she's untouchable. I'm about to prove her wrong. The hearing's held in the community center, the same room where I exposed her before, but tonight it's standing room only. The air smells of sweat and anticipation, the fluorescent lights buzzing like a swarm. Marceline's at the front in a navy suit, her face composed but pale, whispering to a man I assume is her lawyer. I sit with Tara, my folder thick with evidence, my heart pounding. The city mediator, a stern woman named Ms. Alvarez, opens the floor. Rachel stands, her voice clear. Elowin's endured months of harassment from Marceline, vandalism, fraud, defamation. Last night's driveway attack is the latest. I take the stand, my voice raw but steady, and play the footage. Marceline's sledgehammer swings on the projector, the crowd gasping as tar splatters. The note's blown up next, her handwriting undeniable. She's terrorized this street for years, I say, locking eyes with her. I'm asking for a restraining order and damages. The room erupts, neighbors shouting support, others hurling accusations at Marceline. Tara testifies about her trampled roses, Mike about his keyed car, Sarah about her kids' bikes. It's a vivid moment, the street's pain spilling out unified against her. Marceline stands, her voice shrill. This is a conspiracy, Elowen's faking everything, but her lawyer's wincing and the crowd's not buying it. Ms. Alvarez cuts her off. We've seen the evidence, multiple videos, consistent patterns. Then comes the second vivid moment. Alvarez rules on the spot, granting my restraining order and ordering Marceline to pay $5,000 for the driveway and garden damages. The crowd cheers, but Marceline's face crumples, her hands gripping the table. "You'll pay for this!" she hisses at me loud enough for Alvarez to hear. "That's a threat," Alvarez snaps. One more, and it's contempt. The third vivid moment hits as I walk out, the night air, cool against my flushed skin. Neighbors surround me. Tara, Mike, Jen, even Mr. Patel, clapping, hugging, calling me their champion. Marceline's escorted to her car by a city official. Her suit rumpled, her eyes burning into me. I feel a surge of triumph, but it's laced with dread. She's cornered, broke, and humiliated. Her next move could be anything. Back home, I install floodlights, their harsh glow bathing the pink fence and cedar wall. I text Rachel, confirming we'll push for criminal charges if she violates the order. As I sit on my porch, the tar's faint smell lingering, I realize this war's changed me. I'm not just fighting for my home. I'm fighting for every neighbor she's bullied, every time I've swallowed my rage. The hearing was a trap, and she walked into it, but I'm not celebrating yet. Marceline's down, but she's not out, and I'm ready for whatever she throws next. Tomorrow, I'll repair the driveway, strengthen my cameras, and keep the neighborhood united. This is my street now, and I'm not backing down. The neon pink fence glows faintly under the dawn sky, a fading emblem of my rebellion now overshadowed by the towering cedar wall that blocks Marceline's house from view. The restraining order from last week's hearing, coupled with the $5,000 judgment for my driveway and garden damages, has left her silent, too silent. The neighborhood's alive with newfound freedom. Tara's planning that block party and Mike's circulating a petition to reform the HOA. But I'm haunted by Marceline's parting hiss. "You'll pay for this and the weight of this war." I'm sipping tea on my porch, the air crisp with autumn's edge, when I see it, a for sale sign in her front yard. Its red letters stark against her pristine lawn. My heart skips a mix of triumph and disbelief. I step closer, the grass damp under my sneakers, and read the fine print, "Immediate sale, motivated seller." The smell of her jasmine bushes lingers, but her curtains are drawn, her terriers yapping gone. Tara texts me a screenshot of the listing, $50,000. Below market, a fire sale. She's running, Tara writes. I should feel victorious, but my chest tightens. I've won, but at what cost? The driveway's still cracked. My garden's dead, and my nights are restless, waiting for her next move. I snap a photo of the sign, its first vivid moment burning into me, a symbol of her defeat, but also my scars. I call Rachel, my lawyer, her voice calm through the phone. She's broke, Rachel says. The fines, legal fees, and damages cleaned her out. The city's still considering criminal charges for the driveway. I thank her, but as I hang up, I'm pacing my kitchen, the linoleum cold under my feet. Marceline's leaving, but the memories of her feces smearing her tar-smeared sledgehammer, her lies on Facebook, they cling like the chemical tang of that poisoned soil. I need closure, not just her absence. I spend the day with Tara and Mike planning the block party, but my mind's elsewhere. At dusk, I'm in my backyard, staring at the ruined garden. The second vivid moment hits when I kneel in the dirt, my hands brushing the blackened roots of my mother's marigolds. Tears sting my eyes, not just for the plants, but for the rage I've carried, the sleepless nights, the fear. I realize I've been fighting to prove I belong here in this house, in my own skin. Marceline's sale is a win, but it's not enough. I need to reclaim this space, make it mine again. I drive to the nursery, the air smelling of mulch and possibility. I buy marigold seedlings, lavender and roses, bright, resilient like my mother. Back home, I dig into the tainted soil, my gloves caked with earth, the physical act soothing my frayed nerves. The cedar fence looms, the pink paint barely visible now, a relic of my defiance. As I plant, neighbors stop by, Jen, Sarah, Mr. Patel, offering to help. "You saved us," Sarah says, her kids carrying a seedling. It's humbling, but I wave them off. This is personal. The third vivid moment comes at midnight under floodlights I installed after the driveway attack. I'm alone planting the last marigold when I hear a car door slam. I freeze, my pulse racing, but it's just a mover loading boxes from Marceline's garage. Her house is dark, her reign over. I stand, dirt under my nails, and look at my new garden, small, fragile, but alive. It's a symbolic act, a reclaiming of peace, and for the first time in months, I breathe deeply, the air clean, untainted by her malice. The block party's tomorrow, and I'll go smile toast to our victory. But tonight, I sit on my porch, the cedar's scent mixing with the faint sweetness of new lavender. The for sale sign is a trophy, but the real win is this moment, my yard, my home, my strength. Marceline's gone, but she's left me tougher, bolder, part of a community that's finally free. I check my cameras one last time, their feed clear, and sleep soundly, dreaming of marigolds blooming under a pink-tinged sky. I'm back on my porch, the morning sun warming my face, the new marigolds swaying in a gentle breeze. Marceline's house is empty now, the for sale sign replaced by a sold sticker, her shadow lifted from this street. But I'd be lying if I said it's all peace and petals. This war cost me sleepless nights, a garden I can't fully revive, a trust in neighbors that's still mending. Every time I pass the cedar fence, I remember her sledgehammer, her lies, the way she made me doubt myself. Those scars don't fade overnight, and some days I still check my cameras, half expecting her return. But here's what I've learned: standing up for yourself, even when it's messy, is worth it. I fought not just for my yard, but for my dignity, for every neighbor she bullied, for the right to call this place home. The block party last week was proof, laughter, music, kids playing without fear of her glare. We're a community now, not her puppets. If you're dealing with someone toxic next door, please believe me, you're not crazy and you're not alone. Fight smart, lean on others, and don't let them steal your peace. I'm planting again, rebuilding, and every root I set down is a reminder. I'm here, I'm whole, and I won.